So, you already had the divorce papers prepared. How about that? I scared you, didn't I? Because I'm ready for this at any time, so you better cool down and reflect on what you just said. With that, my husband Jack got up and went into his room. My name is Brenda, a 28-year-old office worker. I got married a year ago to Jack. We met on a blind date. He made his move, and we started dating. After a year and a half, we got married. I think it was a little too soon, but I had vaguely thought that I wanted to be married with children by the time I entered my 30s, so I accepted his proposal. But I realized afterward that I should have been much more careful. The first thing that surprised me was that Jack changed his job as soon as we got married. "I'm changing jobs," Jack said out of the blue. "Why all of a sudden?" I asked. "Because I'm not able to show my full potential there," he replied. I thought to myself. But he said he had already submitted his resignation letter and was planning to leave at the end of the month. It seems he was able to get the job he wanted, but the salary was lower than his previous one. I thought at the time that it was okay because I was working too. But the next thing that surprised me was that Jack kept asking me to quit my job. I would have been fine with quitting if Jack's income was enough to cover our living expenses, but as I mentioned before, he had just changed jobs and his salary was lower. Jack said his salary would increase soon, but I didn't know when that would be. If I quit my job now, we wouldn't be able to save any money and would be in a tight spot after paying expenses like rent and car maintenance. To put it simply, we wouldn't be able to make it with Jack's salary alone. So I told him, "I will not quit my job until your salary goes up." Jack seemed to agree, but he kept asking me to quit periodically, and every time I answered him with the same response. Now we've been married for a year, and his salary still hasn't gone up. "When are you going to quit?" he kept asking insistently. I was tempted to say now sarcastically and tell him I was only kidding and couldn't quit yet. If he wanted me to quit so badly, all he had to do was earn more money. I felt like he should concentrate on his work before persistently asking me to quit. I once wondered why Jack wanted me to quit so badly, and finally came up with an answer. It seemed he wanted me to take care of his mother, Maria. "I just want to make things easier for you, Mom," Jack would say to Maria every time we went over to his parents' house, and she would say, "Thank you, Jack. That's very kind of you." Jack would then say, "But we are both working, so..." And he would glance at me. In other words, he was silently pressuring me to quit my job. He said his mother needed to be taken care of, but it's not like Maria was ill or anything. Instead, she was in good health and pretty active. She earned enough money from her part-time job to enjoy her hobbies, go out with her friends, and live a very happy life. So, to say the least, she didn't need my help. If I was Maria, I would be depressed that I needed to be taken care of even when I was perfectly healthy. But Jack still wanted me to take care of her. "Oh, if only one of us were home during the day, we could go check on Mom every day," Jack blurted out. He wanted me to go over to his parents' house every day. Although it was tiresome to hear this, I continued to engage with my husband. "Maria is still in perfect health. And what in the world do you even want me to do?" Jack said matter-of-factly, "There are plenty of things you can do. You could do the housework for her or go on errands. There are plenty of things to do to help her. But with Maria's part-time job and socializing with her friends, it means that she won't be home a lot during the day, right? Even if Mom wasn't home, you could still do the housework, couldn't you?" Jack's words made me question my sanity. "Huh? What the hell is he saying? Then I would just be a housekeeper for her." Jack just wanted to look good in whatever he did, and especially in front of his parents. If he wanted to take care of his parents that badly, he should go do the housework himself. I didn't have any time for Jack's petty pride, so of course, I didn't quit my job, and I didn't bother to visit my in-laws on my days off. But I did go to their house to visit them during holidays like New Year's. Come to think of it, Jack often gave me orders when we visited his parents' house together. He would tell me to clean up, help his mom, see if there was anything needed from the store, and so on. But I would never do anything on my own. When I would say about going to the store, "Don't you know more about this area than I do?" he'd say, "There would be no point if I do it." I don't understand your point anyway." It seemed like he just wanted to make his wife obey him and feel good about how he was taking care of his parents. That's how I started to see Jack gradually. When I boldly asked him, "Why don't you try to help or quit your job to take care of your mother?" He looked extremely uncomfortable and had a disgusted look on his face. "That's not something I'm supposed to do. I'm giving you these instructions so that my mom will think that you're a considerate, useful wife. I hope you realize how kind I am to you. If Jack kept making unreasonable demands, I would not be silent but go against him. But Jack kept being the same and never changed his stance. He would ask, "Are you going to quit your job?" And whenever we visited his parents' house, he ordered me to do all kinds of things, just as he had done before. I had reached the end of my patience, so I decided to talk it over with my husband. "What do you mean, talk?" "I thought we should talk about our future." What are you even trying to say?" "I'm honestly fed up. I'm fed up with how you keep asking me when I'm going to quit my job, trying to get me to take care of Maria." "Why are you fed up with that? You're my wife, and you're supposed to take care of the husband's parents. Don't you think that's a big burden for me? Isn't it your responsibility as the biological child to help with the housework and take care of your parents in the first place?" "No way. It's the wife's duty to do so. Are you the kind of person who doesn't care about your family? I'm disappointed that you would say such a thing." "Then let me ask you this. How have you been taking care of my parents? If I asked you to take care of my parents, would you do it?" Jack looked at me blankly. "What are you saying?" "What? Should a husband take care of his wife's parents? Does that mean you aren't and won't take care of my parents?" "The husband's parents and wife's parents are different in the first place." "What difference does it make? I can't understand." "I didn't know that you were this clueless. It's like I'm talking to my old boss or something." "What are you trying to say?" "I'm saying that the priority should be the husband's parents. The wife's parents should be taken care of by you, the wife. W. So that means that for him, the only family he prioritizes is his own blood-related family." Ha! Why would you do that?" "Enough is enough. I am the one who wants you to cut the crap." "No way! How dare you talk back like that? My mom's right." "Ha! Mom was saying things about you. She said that you're a badly behaved wife. That's why she gave me this." With that, my husband, Jack, took out a piece of paper from his bag. It was divorce papers. "What? You already had the divorce papers ready?" I was simply surprised, but for some reason, my husband looked proud of himself. "How's that? I scared you, didn't I?" "Because I'm ready for this at any time, so you better cool down and reflect on what you just said." With that, my husband Jack got up and went into his room. And that triumphant look on his face. I am sure that the divorce papers are used as a threat in an attempt to get me to obey and do as he says. The fact that Maria had prepared the divorce papers made me think so even more. Why can't he realize that our marriage is over when he does this kind of thing already? His lack of common sense also irritated me even more. Jack had already filled out the divorce papers and handed them to me. The witness column was filled with the names of Maria and his friends. So this means that I could sign and file the divorce papers anytime I wanted to. The next day after Jack left for work, I filled out the divorce papers and submitted them to the city office, just in case. I also filed a notice of non-acceptance of the marriage certificate. I called my parents and explained the situation to them because I was sure that Jack, who had given me the divorce papers as a threat, would say that he would file the marriage certificate on his own if he heard that I had filed the divorce papers. My parents were surprised that I had already filed the divorce papers, but were outraged about Jack's attitude and behavior. They then offered to help me move my stuff anytime. I took a paid leave and had my parents come over and move all my stuff out to their house while Jack was gone. Then I decided to stay at my parents' house for a while. For the first time in a long time, I felt comfortable spending time at my parents' house. Thinking back, Jack didn't do any housework at all. I was the one cooking dinner after a busy day of work and did all the cleaning and laundry on my days off. On top of that, he wanted me to take care of my in-laws, which was impossible. That night I received a phone call from Jack, who must have just come back home from work. "Hello? Hey, where are you right now?" "I'm at my parents' house." "Ha! Why the hell would you go back to your parents' house without my permission? And there's none of your stuff here. Don't tell me that you're staying the night over there." I almost gave out a laugh. How could he think that I was staying over when I had taken most of my personal belongings with me? He really must be a selfish person to even think that way. "I moved out of the house. I'm not going back to your house." What the hell are you talking about? Come back here and make me some food. Please prepare it on your own." I said that and hung up the phone. I thought to myself and blocked his number from my phone. A week later, Jack finally got impatient and came over to my parents' house. But he didn't come alone. He had brought his parents with him. All three of them had a grim look on their faces. I led the in-laws into the living room and we faced each other as 3 versus 3. How could you be like this? I can't believe you would be gone for such a long period without any of my permission. Well, that's because you tried to use me as if I was your housekeeper, right? All you asked me to do was to take care of your family. My in-laws looked grim as ever. Maria was glaring at me. Don't you dare say things like that. You always say things in a way that's convenient for you. You just force me to take care of things that you don't want to do, don't you? I've told you many, many times that that's not what I mean. What kind of wife are you when Jack is doing so much for you? Seeing Maria saying bad things about me, my father was trembling. My father would lose his temper if I didn't say something before he could lose his temper. I once again said what Jack had said to me. Jack has told me to stop working and told me to help Maria, and that it was my duty as his wife to do so. But for my family, he pushed me to take care of them on my own. In the end, Jack just wants me to obey him and use me to take care of his parents and take credit for it. That's why he has been saying things like how his parents are more important, or that they are a priority than my parents. But has Jack ever said such things like that in front of you? Maria was still glaring at me, but my father-in-law, Raymond, was looking at Jack with a clueless look. Raymond had not heard this story. And what I couldn't believe was that Jack had suddenly brought up the divorce papers and told me that it was Maria's idea. What? Hey, did you suggest that to Jack? Raymond questioned Maria. Oh no, that's because Brenda has an attitude. You know, love. Did you also say something like how Brenda's parents are not the priority? Oh well, that's because it's only normal for your parents to be more important. Don't be ridiculous. I came to support you because I heard that you were put through unreasonable hardships. But as far as I'm concerned, you are the one at fault. Don't be a coward and try to use your parents' power to get what you want. Jack completely shrunk down. Raymond did an amazing job. He said everything that I wanted to say to Jack, and Raymond apologized to us. To Brenda and Brenda's parents, I am truly sorry for the trouble my stupid son has caused you. I will strictly lecture him. Raymond, you're not at fault at all, so please look up. And thank you for your kind words. But I still have one thing left to say. When I said that, Jack asked, What do you mean? To me, the divorce papers that you gave me, I've already filed them. We're not a married couple anymore. What? No, no! Jack and Maria both turned pale. Hey, why did you do that without any permission? You told me that I could file them anytime I wanted to. And besides, you already filled your part of the form and even had Maria sign in the witness box for you. Oh, that was... Did you abolish for... No! Jack! Raymond was fuming with anger. You said that you used it to threaten me. I said these final words on behalf of Jack. Well, how can you be that way? You're so stupid. Raymond hit Jack right on his cheek. Maria was shaken up at what was going on. I sincerely apologize that you had to see that. You're right for divorcing this idiot. I'm truly sorry on behalf of Jack for destroying your marital history. Saying that, Raymond grabbed Jack by the neck and said, You both better apologize too, and made Jack and Maria apologize as well. Then he left the house with them. I and Raymond made sure that all of Jack's property went to me in exchange for no alimony. Since Jack could not go against Raymond, I was entitled to all of our savings and other assets from our marriage. Well, I had a higher income than him though, and I was the one who was running the household, so I had the right to have them. Still, I can only thank Raymond for making sure that the entire amount, which would have been split unfairly, went all to me. And I heard that Raymond was so disgusted with Maria at what had happened that he divorced her. The other day, I happened to meet a colleague from Jack's old workplace. He told me that Jack was not good at his job at all, and that he was scolded severely by his boss every single time. So, as if to go against his boss, Jack had submitted a resignation letter and changed jobs. I had never heard that story before, so I was fed up with Jack. So Jack had just blamed everyone around him for his lack of ability. That's why he didn't get paid at all at his new job. I then rented a single-room apartment and lived comfortably by myself. Work is going well too, and I just got a raise the other day. Since I don't want to be in a relationship for a while, I would like to continue to devote myself to my job. I knew that he was the type of man who couldn't do his job at all once I found out that he was a man who cared a lot about how he looked. He could only maintain his dignity at home and nowhere else. I would think that rather than devoting all his energy to how he looks, he should use it to improve his ability for his work. Still, there are so many scumbag husbands who think that divorce papers can be used as a threat. They think that they are all that, but that's a huge mistake. I wish that these people would get immediately divorced and move on to a life of loneliness. At any rate, I'm glad that Brenda was able to break off their relationship. I hope that Brenda will meet someone wonderful in the future. Thanks for watching. How did you find the story? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more awesome stories like this. Your feedback and support mean a lot.